Psychologists, coaches, holistic therapists, gurus, and spiritualists of all kinds are human beings like everybody else. They do right things and make mistakes too. Helping people to develop is at the same time a hard and honorable work because it requires that spiritualists develop themselves too. That's obvious. You can only teach what you already know. 3D, 4D, and 5D spiritualists have different levels of consciousness, goals, advantages, and disadvantages. What can each one of them do for you? Today, we start with the 3D spiritualist. I'm Cavalher. 3D spiritualists listen to you and want to know about your current situation, your goals, and the problems you want to solve. Most importantly, 3D spiritualists strive to solve the problems you brought to them to help you to fulfill your goals. That's obvious, isn't it? But it isn't. 4D and 5D spiritualists, for example, do not have this as their primary concern. But forget about 4D and 5D. Almost everybody is currently 3D. The world is 3D. Solving all the problems and fulfilling goals are the 3D activities that everybody wants. This is one of the reasons for 3D spiritualists are so adored nowadays. Why does that happen? In the third dimension, we are developing our egos in order to build a strong ego. Imagine the scene. You are talking to a 3D spiritualist. You choose yourself the goals you want to fulfill and say what are the problems that are disturbing you. According to Jungian psychology, the part of you that is conscious, makes choices, and acts is called ego. You are an ego. Therefore, when you tell 3D spiritualists what are the goals that you have consciously chosen, you are telling them what are the goals of your ego. 3D spiritualists will help you to realize the goals of your ego. There is no problem with that whatsoever. Fulfilling the ego's goals is a great thing to do. However, the 3D spiritualist is by no means helping you to follow the soul or the spirit. That is certainly above their heads. Leave that for the 4D and 5D spiritualists. But forget about 4D and 5D. How do 3D spiritualists help you to fulfill the goals of your ego? Obvious. With their egos. If someone is a 3D spiritualist, they don't have access to their souls nor to the spirit, no matter what they say. When I speak about the strong ego, people imagine someone powerful and authority, someone able to impose themselves. However, the strength of the ego can come from any well-developed personality trait. Intelligent, strong egos, sensitive, strong egos, and beautiful, strong egos are as strong as powerful, strong egos. 3D spiritualists have spiritual, strong egos. They need to feel spiritual in order to feel strong. That's their way. 3D spiritualists are great spiritualists. 3D spiritualists also use standardized methods based on the theories they believe to be right. A standardized method is any method applied to everybody with little variation. For instance, a psychologist or a holistic therapist do such thing when they tell you which is the best behavior you could possibly have. In other words, they give you advice. Advices are necessarily based on the theory they believe to be right. Of course, they would not give you an advice based on a wrong theory. At least I hope so. They will give this advice to everybody that is going through a situation close to yours. That's a standardized method. The same can be said about coaches. Coaches are using a standardized method when they believe in best practices, practices that improve the performance of all the professionals. Coaches will teach that to all professionals with little variation. Gurus that bring the same spiritual teachings to everybody are also using standardized methods. That's another reason that makes everybody love 3D spiritualists. They give you a recipe to follow. Recipes are easy to understand. They are foolproof. After all, it's just a recipe. You just have to follow the procedures. Companies love 3D psychologists. They offer easily comprehensible theories that fit all employees and give advice about the best practices all employees should follow. That will easily become a best practices manual. If the 3D psychologists use psychological tests, they will become idols. Imagine you being able to classify everybody in small boxes and to control everybody. Sounds nice, huh? 4D and 5D spiritualists would never give you advice nor use any standardized methods. But forget about 4D and 5D. The definition of morals is a set of behaviors considered to be the best, therefore should be adopted by everybody. Well, this is also the definition of a standardized method. So morals and standardized methods are at the very least twins. 3D spiritualists love to be right. In fact, they love to be morally right. The 3D spirituality is entirely based on right and wrong. 4D and 5D spiritualists do not believe in right and wrong and don't bother about morals at all. But forget about 4D and 5D. 3D spiritualists make a terrible mistake when they think to be morally correct. Every time someone defines what is right, they immediately define what is wrong. Everybody that does not fit the 3D spiritualists' definition of right will be considered to be wrong. I don't think 3D spiritualists would stop seeing you for considering that you or your behaviors are wrong. After all, they would lose all their clients. However, I frequently see 3D spiritualists looking down on people they consider to be wrong. You are inferior for not being a Christian, for liking money, for smoking, for drinking, for using drugs, for having a different sexual orientation, for not liking spirituality, for not being positive at all time, for not being in the light at all times, for not being grateful all the time. You are inferior for not agreeing with the 3D spiritualist. That happens because everybody who follows a moral system believes that they are right and that people who think differently are wrong. That is the root of prejudice. 3D spiritualists are the best people to help you solving your problems and fulfilling your goals. This way, 3D spiritualists help you to be successful and build your strong ego. When you complete the construction of your strong ego, it will be the time to leave the 3D spiritualist behind. How do you know that this moment has arrived? When someone who already has a strong ego and is successful faces a problem that can't be comprehended, they seek a solution in many standardized methods, consult many professionals, including 3D spiritualists, and nothing is able to explain that, and nothing is able to solve that. When you are facing an incomprehensible problem, a problem with no known solution, it's time to look for a 4D spiritualist.